This is Vet Tales, the story of the world's only sailing veterinary clinic. Last episode, we began our latest veterinary expedition to deliver free veterinary care to 4 remote villages in the Sea of Cortez. This episode, we continue into uncharted waters to help more animals and make our way to the literal oasis of Punta Colorada. Goodbye to Punta Alta y Los Burros to go to Los Burros. There's more dogs there. It's a bit of a slightly bigger town, a big town. I spoke a little bit about this when we were doing the vaccines in San Evaristo and Isla Coyote. Although these communities seem really isolated and therefore it might seem like the dogs and cats don't need vaccinations, rabies can be spread by bats and other wildlife, so the rabies in particular is really important since that is a zoonotic disease that can be transferred to people, and obviously the children play with the dogs and things, so it's really important to make sure that they don't have rabies. And then with the other communicable diseases like parvovirus and distemper, they're very, very deadly, and although the dogs aren't going to big cities or anything, the people here do go to La Paz periodically. That's where they have to get a lot of their provisioning done and things like that. So when they go to La Paz, they're walking through the streets where there is parvovirus and distemper, and then it can be brought back here to the dogs in their community. So it's still really important, although they're isolated, to make sure all the animals are protected. After visiting San Evaristo for our first animal health campaign in this area, the word had spread and 4 more villagers asked if we could visit them to deliver healthcare to their pets. These communities are often bypassed by sailors, so we only had local information to guide us. Alright, we're nearly at Los Burros. This is the area that's not charted. So on Navionics, this whole bay basically says it's 14 meters. We're currently in 80 meters, so that's not correct. And this isn't a spot people, as far as we know, have anchored. So we're going in slowly. Jim's going to be up the front. We'll just keep an eye out, and we'll keep an eye on our depth sounder to try and make sure we anchor over sand because it looks a bit rocky. So yeah, we'll see how we go. And we're only doing a day anchorage here, and it's pretty calm right now, so it's really good weather for us to be doing some reconnaissance and exploration with Chuffed. We couldn't have timed this better because there was a northerly this morning and we were protected in Punta Alta, and now the entire Sea of Cortez is like a lake and we're anchored here. So cool. Los Burros, Los Burros. Los Burros, Los Burros. Estamos aquí con los vacunas para los perritos y gatos. Vamos a ir a la tierra en 10 minutos más o menos.
Buenas tardes, estamos enterados.
Muy bien, nos vemos pronto.
Nos vemos pronto.
Cool. Vámonos. In we row. Los Burros is a slightly bigger community north of San Evaristo. Technically, you can get here by car, but only if you drive through a dried up riverbed most of the way with some pretty extreme 4-wheel driving. So by far the easiest access is by boat. This little town is once again predominantly a fishing village, but there is more farmland in this area.
You say forest, Jim?
Bosque?
Oh wow. Bien bonito.
We had brought with us core vaccines, rabies vaccines, and treatment for fleas, ticks and worms.
Oh, qué bien. Qué inteligente, sí.
We also gave each pet a good check over to see if they needed any additional treatments.
Para la rabia, moquillo y...
¿Pongo?
Oye, que no traigas moquillo, usted que te ponga...
Listo. No, cuídate.
No siente nada. Neymar looks like he's got some Labrador in him, so it was no surprise that he had a mild ear infection. Luckily, thanks to our patrons and donators, we carry extra medication, including eardrops for such occasions. So we did half of the dogs that we were told about here in Los Burros. Pongo's mum gave us this very cute langosta, which is really cute little lobster. I love it. It sounds like there may be kind of another group, another town, another village further inland. They told us it's at least an hour to walk, which is just too far with our veterinary supplies in this heat. All our vaccines will get hot and melted, which isn't good. So yeah. So we don't have cell service, and so they're going to contact Amarani, who's the woman who helped organize all of this from San Evaristo, find out who's up there and where the dogs are, and then radio us to let us know if they can come here tomorrow morning before we leave, because we're actually going to anchor just here. It's only about a mile down the beach, so we'll be within easy radio contact. And it's just meant to be a calmer anchorage if we do get a bit of a southwest. It's meant to be westerly, but it almost always is actually a southwest. So yeah, it'll be a bit calmer since it's the southern bay. And we'll come back tomorrow morning before we then head to the next location, which is Punta Colorada, which is only about another 5 miles around the corner. After a 6 a.m. start, we visited 3 villages, vaccinated a bunch of dogs and cats. It's 4 p.m. It's been a long work day. Time to jump in, cool off, rinse all the dog and cat off of us, and maybe even rest a little bit before we lift up anchor early tomorrow to head to the next village. All right, I'm jumping in. I bet it's gonna be cold. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's clear. I'm gonna really soap up today since we had a lot of dogs on us.
Oh, that's nice.
The scenery here is so beautiful.
Motor tanker ocean full time.
¿Hay más gente que quieren vacunas esta mañana?
Hi, yes, there is another 4 dogs.
All right, we're about to head in with the vaccine. The vaccines we give are very important for the pet, wildlife and human health, but so are the tick preventatives. In the last year, there's been several fatal cases of tick-borne illnesses in the children of northern Mexico, including Rocky Mountain fever and Ehrlichia, both of which are spread by the brown dog tick. The work we do here not only protects the dogs and cats, but hopefully the children and the people too. Oh, qué bien. Tu cola es tan feliz. I thought I was being real tricky bringing 1 extra vaccine. Turns out there's 3 extra dogs coming now, so we're just going to go back, grab a couple extra vaccines and come back. So that's good though. We'd rather get as many done as we can, and we bought extra vaccines knowing there'd always be 1 or 2 extra dogs at each place we went. up the dinghy and head around the corner. It was very successful though. We did all the rest of the doggos. And yeah, everybody's been vaccinated. We did all 10 that were meant to have been here, which is great. And now we're going just around the corner where there's 2 more dogs and a cat, I believe, in Punta Colorado. We found doing these projects that in the slightly larger towns, and by larger I mean like 20 to 30 people instead of like 10 people, staying for a couple of days is really useful, because what often happens is the first day we see some of the dogs and not everyone's necessarily heard we're coming, or they don't realize we're coming that day because communication is difficult. Most people have satellites here so they can get some cell reception, but you know, they're not online like a lot of us are. So it's really nice to have 2 days like what we did here, where yesterday we saw a couple of dogs and then they said, oh, maybe there's more dogs, we don't know. We got them to do a bit of reconnaissance for us, and then the next day, you know, 6 more animals are there. So yeah, actually it was seven more. So it's really important to not have a super tight schedule with what we're doing. We deliberately timed it to do these vaccinations and these projects over the few days when there really isn't not much wind, so we were able to use the wind to get down here, and now it's pretty calm and it's kind of the perfect time to be able to just stay as long as we need to in these communities, because some of them, like I said, aren't really known anchorages. And I mean, the anchorage last night was beautiful and calm, but as I said to Jim, I think we could have anchored in the middle of the, you can't anchor because it's 100 meters, but you could have just been sitting in the middle of the channel and not rolling either, because it was so calm last night. So we've picked it well, we've timed it well, and we're just going to take our time. The next place we're going is Punta Colorado. You know, there's meant to be 2 dogs and a cat, but as always, we never know exactly what to expect until we're there. So maybe we get it all finished today, maybe we got to stay a day, we'll see. Looks pretty beautiful though. I think that's it there where all that greenery is. You probably can't see on the GoPro super well, but apparently there's like a runoff, a natural water runoff, and so it's a bit of an oasis, so it's meant to be really beautiful, so we're excited to see it. Whoa, it looks like really pretty. Thank you once again to those of you who donated specifically for this campaign, and to all of our patrons and other donators who make these expeditions possible. We really couldn't do it without you all, and all of the people and pets that we met are very grateful for your help. Next episode, we explore this beautiful oasis and meet the dogs and cats that call it home. You can help us continue our goal to improve the health of animals in the Sea of Cortez by becoming a patron, making a once-off donation, or simply share our videos with your friends. Until next episode, stay chuffed, everybody.